Caution is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? It's us. We're back at it again with another episode, this time talking about WWE Backlash. And we're going to talk about things being back, seeing as I'm back. Hi, I was off last week being ill.
It's us. Yes,
Yeah.
it's us. It's
us. Oh, sorry. You already know who it is. It's Outcasted OC. Sorry, I didn't realize we need to plug our name every single episode. Is that
I
now
don't
in
know
the
what's going on here?
But anyway, as I was saying, I'm back. I'm glad to be back. Get to talk wrestling. But we are missing our wonderful Reese, who likes to yap with us. Clive's also happy to be there. But yeah, shout out to Reese. Sorry you can't make it, mate. I hope you feel better. The sickness bug is going around. Let's just put it that way. But we're still here. The trio is here. We'll still keep it going. But yeah,
we've got a Reese replacement.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Clive with his wonderful insight on the bloodline.
Well, I was going to say Clive doesn't have insight on the bloodline, so it might be a quick conversation.
That's it. That's him.
He acknowledges.
He acknowledges.
I wonder if he eats. It's just me.
His face is just so unamused.
The way that you're just letting him do it, but he's staring at the wall, being like, "Get me out of here!"
Moved even like he doesn't want it.
Did you ask him if he wants it?
Exactly.
Anyway,
how are we all doing? How are we feeling, guys? It's good. Good to be back.
I'm glad it's nearly the end of the work week. The end
yes.
of the work. One more.
Kind of low-key forgotten what happened at Backlash.
Well, we'll get into it. Don't worry. So
I know. You to jog my memory.
So a lot of people.
Raw, but it's fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I'm not really going to be covering Raw, mainly Backlash, because Raw. In my personal opinion, this week's Raw very much just lined up to more Saturday main event and what's going to be happening with that. And
I did see.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Backlash was interesting. It divided a lot of people. I don't think it was a bad pay-per-view per se. I feel like it did lack in some aspects, or there were little bits of the story I was kind of expecting more to come from it. But let's get into it. So the first match that we had was Jacob Fatu against LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. How do we all feel about that match? I'm going to go to Courtney first.
I reckon it was arguably one of the two top matches of the night for me.
Yeah.
Normally, WWE like to start their PLEs off with the women. Don't know why. They just like to get the women's matches out of the way. But I'm glad that they did this one first, because not only did this match start off with a bang, the crowd was electric. It really showcased the crowd and the excitement that there was for this show through the crowd. I'm really hoping that this has kind of tied off loose ends, specifically with Damian and Drew. I am at the point where we've been seeing Damian and Drew for a very long time, even while, Damian was still a part of the Judgment Day, that they were having solo matches between them two. And that stems back a long time ago. So I'm really hoping that these two can kind of just leave that where it is and move on to something else. As well as I'm really hoping the same thing for LA and Jacob as well. I'm really hoping that we can kind of see LA move on to something else, and Jacob can have another person to go up against for the United States Championship. Great thing as well too. This is true. Great thing from the match though was the debut of Mr. Jeff Cobb.
Yeah, boy.
It very much looks like he's tied in with the bloodline. Oh yeah, the bloodline. But then it also kind of looks like that Jacob's
Jacob ain't happy about it.
No, that's why I put there. I'm questioning
you, Solo.
Because that's probably what he's going to be doing tomorrow on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know who that was that turned up. So Ross was going, "Oh, it's Jeff Cobb. It's Jeff Cobb." I was like, "I don't know who that is. I don't know what he does." And he was like, "Oh, he did stuff in New Japan." And I was like, and then my first question after that was, "Is he Samoan?"
I don't think so.
He's not.
He's Hawaiian.
So that to me, issues from that is like, if Solo's recruiting non-Samoan people into that scenario, will this be the split that we see with Solo and Jacob and that.
It might be, but if he's recruiting non-Samoans as well, it might be El Grande Americano's time to shine. You know, if they're recruiting anybody and everybody these days, we could see Grayson Waller get recruited.
I mean, like, El Grande was fabulous in this match, you know, because he wants to be the greatest luchador. He took out Penta so that Dom could retain because he wants to be the greatest luchador.
Exactly.
So yeah, Jeff Cobb is Filipino descent. He is not Samoan.
Okay.
Yeah, Jeff Cobb is a former Olympian. He did wrestling in the Olympics, and he was also a part of United Empire, hence why I threw up the crown, which was Will Ospreay's faction before he left to join WWE. What's really interesting is the reason why Jeff Cobb and Jacob Fatu was questioning it. They've had matches against each other, and Jeff Cobb nearly beat Jacob Fatu in MLW in the past. They've got past history.
So, for somebody that's solely a WWE fan and doesn't watch other stuff, if you was to recommend one Jeff Cobb match for them to go and watch that's outside of obviously WWE, what match would you recommend?
Oh God, okay. There are
just one match.
You can never tell Ross, just give me one, because he goes, there are a few. And it's like, no, just the one, please.
I need to make sure it did when it happened. So
okay, while he's doing that, G, do you want to give your thoughts on the Fatal 4-Way?
As I was saying, I thought it was a great match. Arguably, probably one of the. Did I say that this was my? Yeah, I think I said this was my favorite match of the night. And I really enjoyed it. I like the.
Got it.
The small cracks that Finn is giving when he doesn't know whether he's helping or ruining, and I'm liking seeing those little cracks within Finn and the Judgment Day. That was really cool. I really enjoyed seeing El Grande Americano come out, as we know he's greatest luchador of all time, wants to be the greatest luchador of all time. But obviously the best part of this match was Dominic Mysterio retaining because, you know, greatest IC champion of all time.
Can we also put over the suicide dive into the DDT that Dom did? That was so clean.
Yeah,
just to think, oh, I'm gonna dive. He's gonna catch me. Yeah, let's just do a DDT real quick.
Oh, wait, what the hell am I on about? I'm completely going on about the wrong.
Yeah, you're on about the next match I was going to talk about.
Dom, not the triple fatal 4-way. Oh my god, it completely.
You're okay. You're okay.
Right, we can skip it when it comes to it.
Stop me there.
So you were just your train of thought was coming out.
Because you were yapping a good point. You were talking about what was a great match.
About the Dom match.
No, you're okay. You're okay. To answer your question,
I'm jumping ahead. That's what it is.
Yeah. To answer your question that you asked me of a match I'd recommend, Jeff Cobb versus Tomohiro Ishii when they fought against each other. Ishii was defending the Never Openweight title, so that's their equivalent of anyone that's a super heavyweight or anyone that is like wants to be this like up and coming in between different. If you're a lightweight or a heavyweight wrestler, because in Japan they do a weight class system. Never Openweight, basically you could pick whatever weight class you are, challenge anyone, go for it, and the matches are brutal, very much British strong style meets Japan strong style. They wrestled at Dominion for Best of the Super Juniors 31, and I highly recommend watching that because it was one of the greatest Jeff Cobb slug matches to watch. But his tag team work as well, like he was a tag team champion and did a lot of great work with Will Ospreay and things like that. So just go watch any United Empire match that you see Jeff Cobb. I mean, not many people are going to be like,
that's more than
he's. Yeah, I know. I said the one match, but I'm saying just go watch his United Empire stuff as soon as you joined.
He didn't understand the assignment, G.
I didn't understand the assignment because I'm getting my matches mixed up. Please excuse me.
So let's actually get back to that now.
Oh my god, the Fatal 4-Way. Yeah, it was a good match. I think all four people really showed up and showed out. Drew McIntyre especially. Was a happy Jacob retained, of course. I think LA Knight really needs to move away from the mid-card scene. I think he's so much better than, to be fair, Damien Drew and LA Knight. Damien and Drew both having held titles outside of the
Yeah.
Hang on, has Damien held the world title?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did briefly, didn't he, at Mania? For like literally a few seconds.
Drew, you're on about Drew there because you said Damien. Drew did hold the world title for a few seconds.
And Damien cashed in, yeah.
Damien cashed in on him.
Guys, I'm so tired tonight. It's been a really, really, really long week. Both them two guys having held world titles, and obviously then LA Knight having held the mid-card title. I think it's time for them. They just need to move away and go back to where they came from, because there's upcoming talent that needs to be in that mid-card. They deserve better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. So what you're trying to say in the roundabout way of it, they've done so much good work for the mid-card. They can stand in the main event scene. So we need to start putting them back into the main event scene, and then taking some of the people that aren't really being used in the mid-card scene and start using them a lot more.
Yeah,
So,
it's just a gradual progression that
much
people go through. I think that's where we're finding that these guys are at. So
yeah. Hopefully we'll see some of that talent being moved around anyway with an upcoming draft possibly, and obviously we have Money in the Bank coming up, so hopefully we'll see either way the Money in the Bank is going to go is dependent on the people they put into the Money in the Bank match. So they could put newcomers in who may go for a mid-card, or mid-carders to go for a world. So it all depends, doesn't it? So
good news I'm sticking with my theory.
Qualifying matches begin on Friday this week.
Oh, we're having qualifying matches. Okay.
Yeah, but they also didn't announce who's in the qualifying matches yet.
Yeah. That's good then. So we might find out on the night. Hopefully they don't announce beforehand, because that's one thing I always was very annoyed about, is they announced a qualifying match, and no disrespect, but like you could tell who was going to win the matches of the qualifying matches, especially last year.
Yeah, but back to that Fatal 4-Way. It was a really good match. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm very happy Jacob Fatu won. I think it's great to keep the belt on him, and I like the storyline development of now, okay, I told you to not bring any soldiers. I just told you to trust me and I'd still get the win. Yet you've now called someone in. You didn't inform me on it. Like, we're not working as a group no more. No. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see where that goes. But yeah, adding on to G's rambling because she got ahead of herself. Let's talk about arguably one of my favorite matches of the night, being Dominic Mysterio versus Penta.
This was my favorite match of the night.
Nah, we'll get to my favorite match. I'm saving that one till last. You'll be happy. Let's just put it that way. You'll be happy.
Oh, I already know who you think.
Yeah, you already know mine. Okay. So, Court, what's your opinion on the Dominic and Penta? Because G pretty much gave most of hers already.
It was alright. I feel like, but if we hadn't have seen them wrestled on Raw before, then it would have left more to the imagination. Yeah. But I think because we had seen it, then we already kind of have seen a little bit of how they interact with each other and like a little bit of what can go on. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I 100%.
And obviously with the Judgment Day, like they've come down to help, and then Finn is like, I don't know, it's hard to tell if he's like intentionally trying to question what's going on, and he's like purposely taking too long to like get himself kicked out to make it look like he was trying to help, but he's not helping. But I will say, I did see that really long stare at the end that Finn was giving Dom.
Yeah, at the belt. It wasn't even
at the belt when they were going up the ramp. So I can definitely see that potentially maybe even being for like SummerSlam. I could definitely see that.
I genuinely saw it as Finn was being petty Finn of the, I'm going to help, but he actually didn't. Like, he prolonged helping because that's how he could get away with the situation. And I thought it was really cool how they did it. I like the fact of how he fell as well. I thought that was a unique way of how they made it look like, oh no, Finn got caught in the middle of something. He was going to come help, but now he's on the ground. El Grande Americano, I don't think was really needed in it. Obviously, I know why.
I thought it was great.
I get why, because obviously they're luchadors. They're going to want one particular luchador to win, especially because Dom helped Gabe find El Grande Americana.
But you do also realize as well that this is potentially a way that they can tie in both of the Lucha Bros together, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I know that, but I don't want. Oh, gee, your mic is picking up feedback there. That caught my ear.
I can't hear anything.
I heard it for a sec there. It's fine. Don't worry.
We'll let you know.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I get that, but I don't want the Lucha Bros together just yet. And also, like, Lariat, like, I'm coming for you, hating on Penta like you were. It's not cool, bro. It's not cool.
Dude, it's just his opinion.
He's allowed his opinion, even if it's a
Yeah,
wrong
but-
one.
Hey.
We advocate the IWC having their own opinions.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were talking about that a couple weeks ago, bro.
No, I know. I'm more just making a joke because everyone was like, "Oh, don't let Ross hear him say about Penta." Like, bro, Penta.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because you weren't here last week to defend
Yeah.
Penta.
I
Oh, we
couldn't
forgot
even
about
defend
that.
it. Yeah,
It
exactly.
was awfully quiet on the podcast when Lariat said what he said about Penta, because
Mhm.
everyone was kind of just letting him say what he wanted to say.
And I'm here to be the exact opposite. Penta definitely needs more of a solo run. It's been a lot of fun to watch him not be attached to his brother. No disrespect to his brother. I think both of them are fantastic. I think their tag team is fantastic. But it's great to have them separate on separate brands. Let them show you why they're great alternatively on their own, and then put them together as a tag team. Because I already know we need tag teams. Like, get the Lucha Bros together as a tag team. Yes, 100%. Make them go against Motor City Machine Guns. Make them go against Street Profits. But I am loving Penta trying to chase an Intercontinental. I love that Rey Fenix has the potential chance to go for the US title. Just make it happen. Make them be solo champions for a bit because they both deserve that. That's one thing AEW was scared to do, was put them as solos. Yeah, I thought when Penta was doing his solo work with AEW, I thought that was some of his better work. And same in Lucha Underground. I thought he was amazing in Lucha Underground, but a lot of people just want the Lucha Brothers because that's what they know, and they get that. But yeah, I think the main thing of what you said of, I think Dom and Penta's match would have been more desirable if we didn't see it the week before on Raw.
Yeah.
Because that just felt, we're going to run it back. Whereas if it was like the first time ever and it was on a pay-per-view, it would have been a huge deal.
I know it can be like hard sometimes to come up with fresh matches, but I know fully well that WWE are planning their schedule well in advance. So it's kind of a case of don't put the same match on like 2 weeks prior before a big event, because you've just basically shown the WWE universe half of what they can already do. And as you say, it doesn't leave much up to the imagination.
I reckon that they're planning their storyline as far as at least SummerSlam right now.
Yeah, of course.
Well, with how much we've saw the pay-per-view bookings back to back on like schedule timings, and there's not much gap between them, I would already agree with you heavily on that.
Like, I'm so like confused because we've got like the pay-per-view is such a short period of time between every single one now. So like we've got Money in the Bank in like 3 weeks, yeah?
Yeah, two to 3 weeks. So Saturday night main events next week.
Yeah. So then we've got 2 weeks to Money in the Bank, and then from Money in the Bank to Night of Champions is literally 2.5
2 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah, 2.5, 3 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks, last 3 weeks. And then they're on about having Evolution literally the week after Night of Champions. The first or second weekend of July, and then literally 2 to 3 weeks after that, depending which weekend they place it at, is SummerSlam.
Like I keep saying to you guys, it comes down to the fact that if we didn't have WrestleMania in the middle of April and we had it when it normally would be, there would be more time to build between WrestleMania and Backlash. But because of the fact that they've had this, and I'll continue to say it, this is the reason to me why this is happening, because the domino fell for WrestleMania to be during Easter weekend. Yeah. It's now pushed everything closer, which is it's jarring on creative. It's jarring on the storyline. It's making a lot of matches feel like they're being rushed together, even though they're probably not being rushed together. It's just that because there's such short time in between, now everything's like, where is this match coming from?
Because the way I see it now, then, is so let's go from Night of Champions, because between Money in the Bank and Night of Champions, there was literally like 3 weeks. So that's fine. But then say from Night of Champions to Evolution, we have 1 or 2 weeks. How can you build that many women's stories in 1 or 2 weeks?
It means that...
And then from Evolution to SummerSlam will either be 2 or 3 weeks, depending which weekend they do it. How do you build a 2 2-night event, your first 2-night event in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I also feel like when it comes to them going from Night of Champions to potentially having Evolution the week after, that makes me feel like they're probably not going to have as many women's matches on the Saudi Arabia card because they want to save them all for Evolution, which I think is a better idea because
Yes.
I would rather the women be treated with a little bit more respect and dignity rather than,
Absolutely.
how they can be treated in Saudi.
So we could, so from like Money in the Bank to Evolution, we could see women's matches being built if they're not going to be built. But then we're focusing on 2 pay-per-views in one go.
Yeah. There's a lot going on, and we are grateful. Don't get us wrong, we are grateful, but it's a lot.
We are grateful, but we don't want storylines to be overlooked, pushed, rushed, or not as good as they potentially could be because of timing.
Mm-hmm. It all comes down to timing, I think. Yeah,
I did,
and I know that they'll be fine. But
yeah, I did see something on Twitter earlier that said Evolution will possibly be a 7-match card with a battle royale.
Well, it does make sense because they can build up some stuff from NXT and put that on the card too, because it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive, just the main roster.
They've got the AAA as well and TNA they can use too.
And Evolve as well, but I don't think they'll do anything for Evolve.
The thing is, for what I was going to say as well, to add to this, it feels like they're trying to land a pay-per-view at the start of the month and at the end of the month currently, like just to consistently keep the flow of content going. I don't know if that's because of the deal with... I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying that's how it feels. I don't know if that's something because of the Netflix deal and they want to push out as much content as they can very quickly.
Because
it feels awkward. It does. You are noticing that some storylines are being very quick rushed.
I mean, if we look at it this way, then we have SummerSlam at the beginning of August. At the very end of August, we have Clash in Paris, but there's like 5 weeks between them because August is nearly a 5-week month.
That's what I was going to say. August is the only time it's slowing down.
We have nothing in September. Crown Jewel in October, Survivor Series in November, which will probably be the end of the PLE year then.
It'll start quieting down, but it's going to be a pretty busy couple of months.
Yeah.
Oh, look, September getting absolutely nothing, like always.
Well, I don't know why Evolution couldn't be moved to September then.
Exactly.
This is the thing I always make the joke of. Like September always kind of gets ignored in like a lot of things, especially like WWE's calendar. It's like September is arguably. It used to get Hell in the Cell or
no, that was always October.
Nah, so okay, so there was one of the other big ones that used to be in September. I can't remember which one it was. But they always used to, like, September used to have a pay-per-view, and now, as of lately, it's like September gets ignored quite often. Like, last year it didn't have one, and I'm pretty sure the year before it didn't have one either.
I'm sure SummerSlam used to be around September time. Recently, it's moved up.
Yeah, they moved it up, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Night of Champions used to be September.
They've tried putting it in July, and then it went back to August, but...
Yeah,
I definitely think that they could help clear out that schedule a little bit by just moving something into September. I don't get why they're too scared to do that, but maybe there'll be like an NXT pay-per-view in September. Maybe I don't know. But
anyway, matches.
Yeah. So to go back to the next match that we have, Gunther versus Pat McAfee. G, I'm going to come to you first because I know how much you were excited for that match.
McAfee. Do I think McAfee should have won? Yeah, absolutely. Anyway.
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, what? You can tell that Pat McAfee put his 100% into that match. Like, the match went for so much longer than I thought it would. He put, like, everything he had. Did you see the picture he posted after with his, like, bright from where Gunther
you know, Gunther popped one of his blood vessels in his eyes by slapping him that hard, right?
Yeah, I think so, or something. But the match was really good. It went for a lot longer than I thought. Both of them really, really showed. And I loved the little salute from Gunther at the end. Showing respect to Pat McAfee. I thought that was really good because we've never seen Gunther do anything like that before, especially considering he's quite a heel character. The heel characters don't tend to show respect to their opponents, so that was really cool. And I think Pat really, really did really, really well in that match. I really enjoyed it, yeah.
Nice, good stuff. Court, you feel kind of the same or indifferent?
I
This
can
match
see it in her
was
face.
yeah. This match I just did not. I was talking about it last week. I did not understand why it needed to be on the card. I feel the exact same way coming out of it as I did going into it. For me, I don't know. Like Pat did a great job. Don't get me wrong, but like Gunther this was not needed for Gunther. I need something else for him, honestly, at this
Fair
point.
enough.
But yeah, that's how I feel.
So I quite enjoyed it, but I watched Pat McAfee when he was in NXT Black and Gold, where he went against Adam Cole, and he had like his mini group with Pete Dunne and everyone. So like I already knew that Pat McAfee could somewhat wrestle in the ring anyway. There was some moments, there were a little bit of slips, especially when he tried to jump over the top rope and he had that little slip, but he carried it on, still carried the match as good as he could, and I still really enjoyed what they did. I especially like the slight turn for Gunther, where he showed kind of that baby face of like, oh, for someone who could commentate, okay, you can back some of the stuff you were talking about because you could throw some hands. Okay, respect. Like, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, and I get what people are saying. I don't get why the match was on there and that. I think it was unique enough to be there.
Yeah.
I like the kind of aspect of, wow, Michael Cole's not going to come in and fight, so someone's got to do it for Cole, and it being Pat McAfee. Would I have preferred it being a Wade Barrett doing it? Like, get Wade Barrett out of retirement and throwing hands against Gunther? I would have fucking loved that.
I forgot that the way that Michael Cole was like really worried about Pat and getting up and trying to help him. That was cool.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Michael Cole getting dragged into the ring and that extra level of tension.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was fantastic. Seeing Pat McAfee just run and hit a flying knee like just over Michael Cole to hit Gunther. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I can enjoy that. So yeah, I thought the match was pretty decent. Nothing absolutely crazy about it, but I still think it was pretty cool. I'm now going to get into the match that I felt kind of under-delivered. I know some people didn't feel the same, but I'm just going to put it out there. John Cena versus Randy Orton. So, yeah, what do you think on that match, Court?
I was. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts. I mean, it's definitely not the matches that we've seen from them in the past. Obviously, both of them are like much older, so it makes sense as to why. I don't know. I feel like I've completely had a mind blank as to what actually went down. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. You know why? Because I was staring at Alan the whole time in the background. I could see him when I was there, and I could just see him going like,
yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, bro, I'm trying to watch the fucking match.
I've literally got a screenshot of Alan on my Snapchat that I took.
It's so funny. No, I think it was good. The crowd got what they wanted. I was expecting John Cena to get booed a little bit more, but it seemed as though that he didn't, which is good, but kind of also not good.
Well, a lot of people said this is the first sign of maybe he's regretting his choice of turning heel. Like, he walked back into the ring to kind of soak in some of those, like...
He looked like he was going to cry.
Yeah, some people are saying it sounded like the crowd were cheering him and he was trying to soak it in, but other people are like, no, he walked back into the ring to soak in more boos, to lull everyone into a false sense of security. I thought it was a very in-between. It's the love him or hate him, he's going to celebrate the win because he did still, in fact, win, and he won against arguably one of the biggest rivals he's had in wrestling. The only reason it under delivered for me, I didn't feel there was enough wrestling between them. Like, I genuinely didn't feel like there was enough grapples or move between them. We very quickly got into a situation where refs were getting hit. Nick Aldis came and ran out. Randy was like, oh, you get an RKO, you get an RKO. Everybody's getting one. And then, oh, Cena's going to hit the belt. Oh, low blow. He's got away with it. It's like, I understand a heel cheating to win. Like, I get that. that's how heels do their thing. But like,
Hmm.
it just kind of annoyed me because I was like, going into it, seeing the vignettes, knowing their history, I was really hoping we were going to have like a 45 minute slugfest between them where Cena had to actually go into the, oh, I've not been wrestling because I want to ruin wrestling. And I wanted it to be a situation where Cena was like, I have to wrestle to survive, Randy. And they didn't really portray that as much as I wanted them to. So that's why I said it under-delivered for me. I will state, I did get one of the most absolute favorite things that I wanted from it. R-Truth coming in to save his hero still. Fantastic story.
Yeah, most of that story beat played out afterwards as well too during the press conference. So I definitely think we are going to be getting these guys either at Saturday, probably at Saturday night's main event. I think
so.
Probably the best time
So do you want my crazy theory? I put this theory to G. Do you want my crazy theory? Because I spoke this to Keaton as well.
You're probably going to tell me anyway, so you may as well.
So, y'all can clip this now if I'm right. If I'm right, it's the most craziest booking I've ever done in my history.
I'm writing it down.
It's funny as hell. So,
let me strap into it.
Yeah. What I've said is Saturday main event, we get Cena R-Truth announced. Mm-hmm. What if R-Truth wins at Saturday main event because he would be the oldest person to win the championship belt, relinquishing the previous oldest person to win the belt, which was Vince McMahon. So they clear his name off all the situations, get rid of that history, now lands on R-Truth. But then what I said is, obviously, after Saturday main event, what do we have coming up? Money in the Bank. How does Cena ruin wrestling for more people? You know all those new talents? You know how you want all those new people to win the briefcase and have that opportunity? Cena inserts himself into the Money in the Bank, wins the Money in the Bank, cashes in on the same night on R-Truth to take the title back.
I feel like it's not going to be for the title at Saturday night's main event.
I want it to be.
Yeah, because they don't televise Saturday night main event, do they?
No. We have to watch it on YouTube, I think, so.
But, like, just give R-Truth, like, a small world title run. He deserves it.
Man hasn't held the title since 24/7.
Exactly. Give him a chance.
Just that whole 24/7 title picture was just something I wish that we could just erase from eternity, because what the fuck was it?
I wish they'd bring it back.
Yeah, man, give me 24/7.
Just go grab it out of the rubbish bin from when Nikki Cross won it last. Did she put it in the bin? Who put it in the bin?
She put it in the bin.
Just grab it from the bin. I'm sure it'll still be there.
Give me the 24/7 7-Eleven I-95.
Oh, God.
It was great when it was the 24/7, but yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's really cool how they're playing R-Truth into the storyline, because I know a lot of people are like, but R-Truth's like the comedic relief.
That's the whole treasure. You want someone who's a comedic relief to go up against someone who's completely ruining everything for you to see the dichotomy between the two of them.
Exactly, yeah.
And also, can we remember that John Cena is R-Truth's childhood hero? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
This is his WrestleMania moment, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I want him to win against him. I think it'd be really cool to have, like, my number one fan versus me.
Oh, my God.
I'm just putting it out there. But yeah, anyone else? Any more thoughts on the Cena Randy? G, what are you feeling on it?
I thought it was okay. I was enjoying watching Randy RKO everyone. I kept going, he's going to RKO Nick Aldis, and my brother and Ross was saying, he won't. I was like, yes, he will.
No, I remember my exact words were, I don't mind if he does, but
no, you did. You
what's the? No, I said, I don't mind. I just don't get why.
Well, two things I think are going to come from this match. One, I reckon we are going to see John Cena and Randy Orton again.
Yes,
I don't think this is the only time.
I've been saying that multiple times.
And two, I do think we are going to be getting Nick Aldis and Randy Orton, potentially, maybe even at SummerSlam.
They keep alluding to that, the way they
I think it'll happen.
RKOing him.
I want it to. I think there's like something that Randy's just like, look, I'm gonna keep putting in the storyline to RKO Nick Aldis so it brings him out of retirement.
Well, I'm sorry, but out of the three general managers on Raw, NXT, and SmackDown, Nick Aldis is definitely the best wrestler out of all of them, and could like literally lace his boots up and be like, "I bet, let's go." Like,
I've never seen Adam Pearce wrestle.
Oh, he's Scrap Daddy was good. Scrap Daddy was good. He won quite a few world titles. He was a really good NWA
When we
champion.
say NXT general manager, we mean Ava, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ava can't
She's
wrestle.
alright.
Ava can't go for the same as like everyone else. She was too early on in wrestling and doesn't have the same.
Goodness, schism.
No, I know, but what I'm saying, she doesn't have the same legacy as someone like Adam Pearce or Nick Aldis. Sorry, Nick Aldis was one of the best NWA champions, one of the guys for TNA. This guy was it. Like, if you want someone to represent you and get back in the damn ring, people are going to cry for Nick Aldis. Yeah. There was only one other person that retired and did commentary that I said I would have loved him back in the ring, and I got him back in the ring, and that was Nigel McGuinness. It's a shame WWE didn't pull the trigger on bringing Nigel McGuinness back in the ring, but AW did. But yeah, just pointing out there, Nick Aldis. Yeah, I know, but I was just making a point of other wrestlers that I would love to see that are retired and got the all clear. Nigel McGuinness was a massive one for me when he was in NXT. Mm-hmm. I would have loved to seen some of the storylines when it was NXT Black and Gold and NXT UK. Nigel McGuinness coming back out of retirement then. So I really hope they do pull this trigger for Nigel, not Nigel, sorry, Nick Aldis, because Nick Aldis does deserve to go back in the ring because that was one of the things he was great at. I get they signed him as a manager. I get he was happy to be signed as a manager if he's getting paid big money to be the manager. I bet. But that man could go in the ring against any of those guys in there. He could absolutely destroy them, and it needs to happen, and it's not.
It'll happen. I reckon it'll happen.
But yeah, to wrap up, we are going to my favourite match of the night, and arguably very strong contender of one of the best women's single matches I've seen in a while. Lyra versus Becky. No, I'm being dead ass. I'm being dead ass. I said women's single because you've got to remember 1-on-1. We're not putting Rhea, Io, and Bianca.
I literally seen somebody tweet Becky. No hate to either girls. They put on a good show. Becky versus Lyra is contender for women's match of the year, and I was like, bitch, did you watch the triple threat at WrestleMania?
But this is what I'm saying. That's why I said one. That's why I said 1-on-1 singles, because that was a triple threat. I'm saying.
Yeah, but everybody has different opinions on what their favorite matches are. But you know, that triple threat saved WrestleMania. But anyway.
Yeah, no, I've also stated arguably one of my favorite matches of WrestleMania was that triple threat. But for me, I loved the story. I loved how this brought Lyra back into relevancy with the Intercontinental belt because she is a great champion. She is a really good wrestler. Her promo against Becky. I'm sorry, the rebuttal of do you not remember last time when we fought and I beat you for your belt? Are you worried it's going to happen again? Like, I love that she put her back in her place of,
yeah,
guess what? We fought each other before and I came out on top. So if you want to go there, I'll put you back there. And I liked that. I liked we had that fierce side of Lyra. I also liked the gear both Becky and Lyra had. I loved the storytelling aspect of it. I loved that commentary and the camera team pointed to Lyra Valkyria's fiance in the crowd because there was a moment where Lyra was looking really hurt and you could see her fiance was concerned.
Yeah.
And Becky was playing into that, like shouting towards him. It's like, for me, that was the best part of Backlash because of its storytelling and it held up with the match as well. I think a lot of the counters, a lot of the moves that they did, also the amount of times Becky hit a manhandle slam and Lyra still found a way to kick out, I thought was awesome. And same with Becky kicking out of Lyra's specials as well. I was like, okay, this is a cool long-standing match. They know each other in and out. They know how to kick out at the last minute and made it work. That's just my feelings on it. Like, I'd love to hear both your guys' opinions.
I don't think this feud is over just yet. I think it's going to continue. However, I do feel like we are going to see Bayley at some point during the feud. Whether that means Bayley's coming to help Lyra or Bayley's coming to help Becky, which way they go. Will they turn Bayley heel again or will they keep her as the babyface to help Lyra? I feel because Becky attacked Bailey, maybe she will come to help Lyra, but you never know. But I do feel like she's going to insert herself into this feud at some point.
I would.
Yeah.
I would love that. I'd also love the bait and switch. I'd love Bailey to originally come in to help Lyra and everything, because obviously Becky was like roasting Bailey and being like, "Oh, we don't like each other. Yeah, I got rid of Bailey." What if it was all planned? What if Becky said, "I got rid of Bailey," and they actually align with each other as an as an own heel group?
I have read online, I don't know how true it is or not, that apparently Becky and Bailey have got some real backstage heat. Like, it's real.
Oh, shit.
That apparently Bailey said something about Becky always being in the spotlight, and when will she get like her flowers as one of the
it was on the Chris Van Vliet podcast. She was talking about how she, like, I won't say quote for quote because I can't remember, but she was talking about how, like, Charlotte and Becky are up here and she's just a little bit under, and she doesn't know how to get the company behind her to push her up to the likes of a Charlotte and a Becky. But I'm sorry, but, like, I don't like feeling like I'm hopping on somebody, but at the same time, it's kind of like, it's not Becky's fault that the company has put her up there.
No.
It's not her fault. So to go ahead and say, like, for that to be an issue, like, I'm sorry, but that just sounds like a conversation that these two women need to have between each other to figure out what's actually been said, what the feelings are, and just move forward. Because at the end of the day, like, we can't keep having comments being made on podcasts that someone's not aware of, that they probably will hear and be like, well, what the hell's been said about me? And then that comes to a disagreement backstage. Like, Bailey's allowed to feel however she wants. That's totally fine. I'll never take that away from her. But at the same time, like, there's some things you kind of don't really want to say because it's going to, without context and without telling somebody you're going to say that, it's going to ruffle feathers and create disagreements with people for no reason.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What I think, though, when Bailey said this, I think emotions were high for her because she just found out she was meant to be going into WrestleMania, to then she's been pulled off the WrestleMania. Becky's now coming, done all of that.
Yeah.
But don't speak with emotion like that, because that's when you say things that you don't mean. And then that's when you've got friendships with people. You saying stuff in a heightened emotion and how you feel, saying something you don't mean is going to affect a friendship, because that person who's been inserted into that spot has just been told that's what they're doing. I do not believe in any way, shape, or form Becky was politicking her way to get into that spot. No. I think it was up to the business, and you're taking the issue out on the wrong person. I get heated when it comes to this kind of thing because people just, it seems like these days people just don't know how to deal with conflict.
And I agree with that. But what I was going to say, I think from Bailey's aspect, I don't think she was actually taking the emotions out towards Becky. And I think half of the context was taken wrongly, because she was saying Becky and Charlotte always get put in these scenarios. And if they're told something they don't like, they've said no and they've made it work. Whereas Bailey said, I don't feel like I can say no. If I say no, they change it slightly, but then they have to make me work with what I have. How I saw her interview, it came more across she was upset with the business and how they were treating her with booking, and just making a point of, I'm the girl that's never said no, whereas Charlotte and Becky have said no to some of their bookings, and yet they've been rewarded with better stuff after. Whereas Bailey, when she said no, or she said, can we change it to this aspect, she's been forgotten about, pushed back on the card, or the storylines have not played well for her.
Which isn't fair.
Yeah, which is 100% not fair.
And they do need to book their ideas up and sort their shit out with Bailey, because I'm not being funny. She said she's going. She's going. If they don't sort their shit out, she is going to go.
I reckon it'll take Bailey leaving for them to realise that, you know, you need to sort it out.
She has basically alluded to she is going if they don't sort their shit out.
Well, this is the thing as well, and I'm not praying for anyone to leave any company or do anything different, but I'm sorry, if you drop the ball on someone like Bailey, there are 3 companies that would pay bank, and I mean ridiculous amounts, to have her. And I know 2 people.
You already know where she'll go.
Yeah, I know 2 people in one. two people in one promotion that would fight beck and call to get her signed into that promotion. Athena and Mercedes Moné would instantly be like, I want Bayley here, get Bayley here now.
But if you just take the wrestling side of things out and you think of it from your perspective, if you're in a job that you don't feel appreciated in, you feel overlooked in, you're taken advantage of, you're going to get to a point in a natural conclusion in that role where you're like, fuck this, I don't want to be here anymore. And if that's how she's feeling, because it's her lived experience on how she's being used, she has every right to either allude to the fact that she wants to leave or leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Every right to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the other aspect of it as well, like you landed that perfectly. Bayley's never really spoken about how it's for the money for her. She's never spoken like that. But that's another thing that comes into play in these things. Okay, you're putting me in these big high spots. I'm putting my work in. I'm doing more. I'm doing more media. I'm flying out more. I'm putting myself in the bigger roles for you to give me the bigger stories, and you keep fumbling them. What financial gain am I going to get out of this? Because a lot of wrestlers, this is one thing people keep forgetting. A lot of wrestlers have to pay for their own hotels, pay for their own flights, go pay for their time slots to go to these interviews and get the word out for WWE and things. And that's a lot of time. If you're not seeing the reward of what you're doing, if you're not getting put in the big storylines, or you're not getting put on TV as good as you could be put on TV, you are just going to hit a point where this is not financially benefiting me anymore. It's becoming more of a hassle. I'm going to look at a different company or a different aspect where my money is my worth and I am used correctly. Don't get me wrong. AEW has its own problems with using women talent and how they book people. So it might not work in her favor. It might work in her favor if she does decide to move and go over there. But at the end of the day, WWE need to sit down and have a proper think about how they're booking talent, because I have said the exact same with Karrion Kross, that he is naturally over. Karrion Kross is one of the biggest merch sellers right now because of the stuff he did around Mania. You had a guy that is from Vegas, didn't put him on the Vegas card for any match, and yet he was still the most talked about person at Vegas because of his shoot promo, because of his stuff at Bloodsport, and he's now the most sold merchandise person. How are you not sitting down and going, oh shit, we need to book him? Because the booking they've just done for him, they put him on main event. How? Like, how are you not putting him on legitimate telly roles, yet you're just putting him on main event? It frustrates me that you have such good talent like Bayley, like Karrion Kross, that are putting in as much as they can and they're not being rewarded. Like, Karrion said it in his promo, and I know he was doing it as part of his character, but I have to agree with his statement. Certain people are just walking into this company and being gifted everything. NXT are having this problem at the moment. I'm not saying NXT are doing bad by they're doing it, but a lot of the AEW talent that have been signed and gone to NXT have instantly been rewarded belts. That's not a good sign for your company when you've got so much talent that have been there grinding for those opportunities, yet you get a new guy that's just walked back into the door, or a new guy from a previous company walked in the door. We're going to put the belt on you because you're hot to talk about, so we're going to make sure you're rewarded with a title, so we keep you here for a while. And it's something that wrestling companies really frustrate me about. Like, we could end up doing a whole literal podcast episode of talking about wrestling business and how people are booking, because obviously everyone has their own ideas and their own perspectives on booking, who they would book, who they would not book, where you place someone and where you wouldn't. That's because you have favorites. But as a generalized conversation, especially what we were saying about the Becky Bayley scenario,
thank you.
They need to have sit down conversations. Like, they need to have like a monthly meeting with the talent and people saying, like, look, here is your time to let us know. Where do you feel undervalued? How can we assist you? That is what being a good company and being a good
I
manager
just think,
system is.
like, I'm sorry, I'm just going to step in here. Like, I just think a lot of these conversations, like, I understand that, you know, like, wrestlers want to peel back the curtain these days and kind of give the fans a little bit more insight as to what's going on. I think that was too much that was said. How I felt after that podcast, listening to it, and it was neither Chris's fault nor Bailey's fault. A lot of the contents that was said specifically about what she said about her status was in the company. Sorry, but I don't need to know that. That's a sit-down conversation between her and Triple H.
Yeah.
I don't need to know the ins and outs of how you feel about your position in the company. If you're not happy with it, you talk to the right people in your company.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure if we have moments in our job where we're not happy with something that's gone on, we have specific people to talk to, right?
Yeah.
We don't hop on here and say, we don't air out the dirty laundry of our jobs. You know, we allude to, oh, we're tired, oh, we had a bad day at work or something happened, but we don't go and throw people under the bus like that.
No.
But there's also the aspect of maybe she was doing that to make an apparent point of that I have gone and spoke to the people in the company and they're not listening. So maybe if I put it on a bigger platform where fans are like, oh shit, this is what's happening with Bailey, maybe then they'll listen to her. It's how Carrion's done it. Carrion did that whole shoot promo and people are like, oh, is that him, you know, doing the work, or is that him genuinely frustrated? Because he very much blurred the lines. And that might have been a little bit of what Bailey was doing there, is she spoke openly about her frustration so the company can look at her again and be like, oh, okay, this is how you feel. We didn't realize it was getting this bad. We were listening to you. We're going to make a change. We're going to try and sort something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that, like, you know, people who do these interviews are going to be asking those kind of questions. I get that. But I feel as though to protect the interviewer, the interviewee, and the company, it needs to be a case of, hey, look, I would love to talk about that, but I would love to kind of, you know, not peel back the curtain that much, or say something along the lines of, you know, like, I'm not normally somebody to speak on business like that. And that protects everybody. And that's how, like, I know Bailey wouldn't have meant for that to happen the way that it did. But I just think sometimes, and this is the hard thing with social media, is people take things out of context and they make a story out for themselves, and then they go and put that story out online. And it twists the narrative a little bit. And I think that's what we've maybe found, is it's twisted the narrative. The narrative's gotten back to the wrong people. And then that's why emotions are the way that they are with people, where it just needs to be a conversation.
Absolutely.
It needs to be a conversation between the people involved so it can be dealt with at the time, and so that social media doesn't twist it out to be something it's not. Really is kind of how I feel. Unfortunately, people on Twitter, they love to think that they're the next Sean Rossap and tweet all this stuff that's not true, and it can do a lot more damage to friendships and relationships and working relationships than what people think.
I think that's another problem I have as well, is so many people on Twitter now will clickbait context, or Facebook, or whatever platform. I've saw multiple posts where people will clickbait certain small segments of an interview without half its original context and explode it. Like the Will Ospreay thing that I sent to you guys in the chat.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually him saying he's the best compared to WWE. He meant in ring for himself. And like, I even said to Keaton, that's fine because he's got the confidence to do that. And I understand where he's coming on that aspect, but there are moves that he is not as good as others. He's more just speaking confidence. But people in the IWC made it sound like Will Ospreay is instantly dogging on WWE, being like, oh, no, I'm better than them on their worst day, which is not what he said. He said in his aspect, AEW's wrestling on their worst day is better than what he sees with WWE. He said he respects everyone. He understands their work and their wrestle style. But to him, he thinks AEW is a lot better with what they show. And that's his confidence. But people are going to take that context and make him sound like an asshole and make it sound like he's completely shitting on the other company. Because this is the one thing that the IWC it drives me up the wall, is we're going to take wrestlers from interviews and make it sound like they're completely shitting on the other company. Like,
absolutely.
like we had when Mercedes Moné first joined AEW, she was like, "No, I love my time at WWE and everything like that. I really respected all the guys that everyone was doing and everything like that." But the thing that is absolutely did my fruit in with that is she was like, "Look, I came to AEW because I wanted more creative freedom." She just didn't agree with WWE's freedom. She never said she hated the company. She never stated she hated who they worked for. But the articles you saw straight away after she said that is Mercedes Moné couldn't agree with WWE's creative, or Mercedes hates WWE creative, joins AEW. All of this. Same with Saraya. Look how many people shitted on Saraya, being like, "Oh, Saraya's a traitor to WWE because now she's gone to AEW when she was finally cleared and could wrestle under there." And Saraya was like, "No, I loved my time at I loved my time at WWE. Like I have no issue with them." And yet people still try to make that tribalism of she hated WWE, and it's vice versa. People who have gone from AEW to WWE. Yeah. Have you noticed WWE's past two promos for people who have returned? This is not me dogging on it. This is just my way of going. Aleister Black was like, "Oh, I came back to this company because I need to be the consequence for people's actions." People took that as, "Oh, he's came back to WWE because they want to give him it's because he's showing the consequences of letting him go. He's showing the consequences that AEW fumbled him." I'm like, no, it's character. His character is, "I am now a conscience of people. I'm going to show you how your actions have screwed up, especially when it gets me involved." Same with Rusev. Rusev thing was like, "I lost my way." And people are basically like, Rusev has now insulted AEW, saying that he's completely he lost all his creative freedom. He lost himself. He felt lost in AEW, and now he's back home. It's like, no, he just used that to build his character of he lost everything that made him Rusev Day. He's now going to redeem himself and other people because he was the redeemer in AEW.
It's just people trying to find hidden meaning in everything. Like, not everything is as deep as what people are making it out to be. It's so annoying. People are reading into it way too much.
Didn't want to renew his contract with AEW. Okay, fair enough. He went back to the company where his wife is so he could spend more time with her. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, and this is the thing as well. Like, look, and people, like, as you guys said, like, people are reading into it. It's like, you're allowed to read into it. You're allowed to analyze things. I'm someone who's very much attention to detail in wrestling, in all aspects of things.
I sit and listen to the Taylor Swift freaking analysts of everything she posts on TikTok.
I was going to say, hi, I'm a Sleep Token fan. If I need to analyze anything, it's freaking Sleep Token, and I go deep into lore because they give me freaking stupid puzzles through lyrics and everything. Sidetracking that. Not everything needs to be, because they've made a certain way of wording things in their promos, it's a dig at the other company. Let them just show their characters. They have to give an explanation why they've been gone for so long. And that's what Aleister did, and that's what Rusev did. It wasn't them digging at AEW. It's just how it came across.
Yeah, but it's like, I think I said this to you guys in the group chat, and it gets on my nerves. I'm starting to realize that, and I can't remember which. Oh no, it was Indy Hartwell's podcast she just did with Chris Van Vliet.
Yeah,
and she said something, and it makes a lot of sense. Tribalism only exists within the fandom. People don't realize that the wrestlers are all fans of each other. They're all friends with each other. They all want each other's companies to succeed because then that means there's more opportunities for more people.
Yeah.
And like when she said that, I looked back on it and I was like thinking to myself, I was like, oh my God, you're actually so right. Like the issues with the IWC are literally only within the IWC. They don't extend to the wrestlers. Like Jesus Christ.
To add to that, this is where I find it the most interesting thing, like to especially add to that. One of the biggest like things in wrestling for me, and it's been a faction that I hold dear for life, is Bullet Club. And Bullet Club's transcended companies. Didn't matter what promotion you went to, if it was TNA, if it was WWE, if it was New Japan, if it was AEW, people wore the Bullet Club t-shirts.
Yeah, of
And
course
what
they did.
And what annoys me is so many people are like, but this person's gone to this company and that person's gone to this company. You don't think they're not friends? They were in a faction together for years. They were all sat in the same promotion, doing work with each other, and so many of them have now gone on to do amazing careers. No matter what promotion they've gone to, you've got half a Bullet Club in WWE, and you've got the other half in AEW. It doesn't matter what promotion they've gone to, they all still talk to each other. They all still care what's going on. Like I pointed this out to Reese. Do you know how many people in the newest version of the Bloodline are ex New Japan guys? If we're gonna sit down and work it out, Jacob Fatu had a small stint in New Japan.
Gorillas of Destiny.
Gorillas of Destiny, so Tamatonga, Tangaloa. If Hikuleo comes in, Hikuleo is their brother. And that's going to be another guy. Jeff Cobb is a former New Japan guy. And if he's in their group...
Bloodline.
No, if he joins the Bloodline group...
He's not Bloodline.
We don't know yet. That's what I'm saying.
He's not Bloodline.
But my point still stands. Bronson Reed as well. When Bronson Reed teamed with them and he aligned, that's a New Japan guy. They all talk to each other. They're all friends. They work multiple companies. They know each other very fucking well.
Yeah. This is when I say, like, people just be doing so much digging and so much gossiping that they want it to be their job, but it's not. And so they just keep doing it. Like, you're doing more journalism than Sean Ross Sapp is, and he's getting the information accurately from everybody because people trust him. Honestly.
What also does the not in, those same people that do tribalism love when a crossover happens. If you're tribalizing, hating on one company and wanting another one, why are you so gassed and happy when a crossover happens? So many of the TNA haters, once NXT announced, I'm going to collab with TNA, jumped on the bandwagon. So many New Japan haters, when AEW were like, we're going to collab with New Japan, they were like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, and I bet at least 70 to 80% of the AEW fandom don't even watch New Japan, but they were really hyped for that.
Exactly, and it's the thing that absolutely does my nut in, because you've got AEW people who have watched AEW since day one and don't know about the New Japan stuff, just know about Bullet Club, Elite, Kenny Omega, whatever. However they ended up finding AEW and don't watch New Japan. It's the same with TNA. People know about TNA, didn't ever watch it. As soon as a crossover happens, those people that were still dogging on those companies because they weren't WWE are now super gassed that, oh my God, there's work. Like, Noah has started working with WWE. That's another Japanese promotion. And people are, this is New Japan bootleg. It's like, shut up, man.
I would say, like, I'm a prime example of this because I only actively watch WWE. I don't watch anything else. But I keep up with stuff on Twitter and TikTok from other companies. And it can be done. Like, as a wrestling fan, you can actively only watch one promotion, but know about things from other promotions from social media. Yeah.
But the difference is, as well, you don't hate on the fact someone crosses over. You don't actively be like, I hate AEW, even though you don't watch it. Like, you know about.
What did I say the other day? Cora Jade has gone to freaking GCW.
GCW, yeah.
And I was like, hell yeah, go girl, you get that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is the thing. Like, you take it on board. You don't sit there and go like, just because this is my promotion doesn't mean I'm not going to be interested in where other people go. You started watching TNA because the Iconics became the inspirations and dropped over.
And then
what's wrong with that?
Yeah, and you started watching TNA with me for a bit because you were like, I was interested.
I fell in love with Jordan Grace. I fell in love with Grado. I fell in love with Joe Hendry, and now they're all actively, besides Grado, are on WWE, which makes it great for me.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing. It's like same with some of the New Japan people. Like, you ended up watching one New Japan pay-per-view with me because you were like, I want to see Mercedes Moné debut there. Let's watch it together. Because like Alice is a massive Sasha Banks fan, so I sat down and had like Alice come watch that match with us because she likes Sasha Banks. She still doesn't like the fact she's called Mercedes Moné. I'm still trying to get her used to that. She hates that. She still calls her Sasha Banks. I'm like, I get that. But like, you know, it's one of those. I'd rather people just have open minds on what happens with wrestlers, like especially with releases that have just happened now. Your wrestlers that you did care about are going to go to other places. So this is the time to not be tribalism.
But
this is the
this
time
is
to
the
follow
thing.
where they go.
Like with a lot of companies having crossovers now, so like we have AEW working with New Japan, we have WWE working with TNA. The likes of Indy Hartwell got released from WWE. She's now with TNA. She has that opportunity to be within WWE again.
Yeah. Well, it's the
So
same with like
even if
AAA
they
and
do
that
get
as well.
released or go to a different company, there's plenty of opportunities always for them.
Yeah. And it's like, it's the fact of WWE's just bought AAA as well. That's even more opportunities for
I think
people.
we've gone so far off.
No,
Yeah,
because we are going to backtrack it into so like where I was going with all of this is like Backlash was still great in the aspect of, and not everyone expected this pay-per-view. Like a lot of people overhyped it, a lot of people underhyped it. I still think it presented decently enough. I just wish there was more wrestling and more storytelling. I feel like that was kind of the part that was gone. And once again, like as we're saying, the IWC were reporting it like, oh, it's the worst thing ever. And it's like, just be open to things. You don't.
Bro, you've not seen the greatest Royal Rumble ever.
Yeah, literally.
You fucking idiots.
Exactly.
No, the greatest intercontinental champion.
I think one thing that I want to say like on that in terms of like people, something I find that people do is they'll put like WrestleMania 40 or WrestleMania 41 as the benchmark for all of the shows, and then they expect everything to
You
they
can't.
expect Backlash to be better than WrestleMania. How is it going to be better than WrestleMania when WrestleMania is marketed as your biggest show of the year? Of course, you're going to have some match cards that don't necessarily live up to a WrestleMania. But if you keep putting that expectation on people that everything has to be the same as a WrestleMania, of course you're going to get disappointed. And that's, you guys hear me say this till I'm blue in the face.
Yeah.
Which is hard because I'm pale and translucent, so it's really easy to see my veins. Like, people just sometimes, unfortunately, they have expectations that they just don't know how to manage. Like, I keep telling you guys whenever we do podcast episodes for predictions, I'll always say, keeping my expectations low, just want to be excited by the show. And when that happens and I keep my expectations low and I go, okay, I know it's not going to live up to a WrestleMania. However, I'm just going to go and I'm just going to enjoy it. Sometimes those are the shows where I come back the week after and I go, holy crap, guys, like that was fantastic.
The one that irks me the most is everybody expecting a return or a debut all the freaking time. I'm sorry, but the company is bloated enough as it is, as we've seen with recent releases. But they're not always going to have people come back. Okay, back from an injury. Yeah, that's fine. They're already with the company. But new debuts and returns isn't going to always happen.
Nope.
Yeah. And the other thing with that as well is like, you can't set the benchmark being WrestleMania, because for me, WrestleMania is your season finale of an ongoing series. That is your season finale. That's the big throw everything out there. Yeah, and now it's in the reset. So you're going to have your slow burn episodes. Most long-running series, you have those beginning episodes where it's like, oh, the story's slowly building. And that's what Backlash is. It's to carry on building, or here's a foundation of what was left at WrestleMania. Let's add to it and then carry on adding to it. And I feel like that's what annoys me. I also hate the term that people use, that it's a B show pay-per-view. Like, there's no B show.
Well, it's just not one of the big four, big five anymore. But still, it doesn't mean that it doesn't deserve a place.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by I hate the term B show pay-per-view, because it doesn't matter what pay-per-view it is, if it's a big one or if it's not. Pay-per-views are still fun to just enjoy and watch, especially now we're in an era where it's very accessible to watch them. You haven't got to pay a ridiculous amount, especially if you already pay for Netflix, which pretty much 90% of us do. So you just let the story build. It's like, you can't just moan it and be like, oh, it's a B-level show. It's like, okay.
Manage your expectations. buddy.
Yeah,
It's all right.
and then it's the same as me just being like, okay, so you know how you've got that really cool show that you've got multiple seasons of. Pretty sure there was 1 or 2 bad episodes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or like there was one that didn't hit home for you. That's going to be everyone. So other people, this pay-per-view is going to be excellent. They got everything they want out of it and more. Because once again, it's opinion based. I just hate the term B show pay-per-view, and that's the one thing I kept hearing throughout this. And I'm like, yes, it's a B show pay-per-view because it's called Backlash. That's the only B that's in it.
B for Backlash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything. Yeah, we did go on a bit of a tangent about like obviously discussions and bookings, but I feel like that was going to come and happen anyway because the things that are going on with Becky, the things that are going on with other wrestlers right now, especially like G made a very good point of she's now very interested where Becky's storyline's going. Because
have you seen her promo from Monday Night Raw this week, G?
I haven't watched Raw yet.
You need to go and watch it because it plays into a lot of the claims that people continue to say that she's very similar to a guy with two names, both starting with H.
Oh, okay.
Picking up what I'm putting down.
I will have a look in a bit. Yeah.
So go. If I do recommend you watch anything from Raw, it's that promo because she did not miss with that one. And she really misses, but you know, this one was pretty good.
Yeah. I saw most of the promo, and I was gonna say
we could just watch it together after.
It's been a crazy week. I just haven't had a chance to watch.
Yeah, no, we've been
flat.
It's been manic, but it's been manic for the pair of me and G. Let's be real. We've had like say yikes of a week, but anyway, yeah, I think we pretty much covered all the bases of everything there. Anything else? Any WWE news or anything else related people wanting to mention or talk about?
No, I'm just confused as to why the cops are coming to grab you after your comments that you made, but that's fine.
Oh, damn, you called them on me. God damn, I gotta run. I
didn't call them on you. I didn't do anything. They heard the things that you were saying and they were like, we're going to come grab them.
I knew, yeah. The only thing I was going to say is the thing I'm super interested in is that WWE have just announced their DLC for 2K25 of a lot of the new talent. So we get Julia, Stephanie Decor, and Motor City Machine Guns. I am definitely looking forward to playing those because those are some of the people that I said I hope they get into 2K25. So I'm glad that they have, especially because Chris Sabin tweeted out, this has been a dream of mine because he's never actually been in a wrestling video game because TNA didn't make wrestling video games. They made a couple, but they never were successful. And Motor City weren't in the company at the time. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that because I thought that was really cool. But yeah, with that, that's the end of the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed Backlash yourselves. Let us know what you thought in the comments and your thoughts and views of booking and everything. But yeah, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, like, do all the fancies, press the bell so you never miss when we drop an episode. All the socials are down at the bottom, so you can follow us on X, TikTok, and I'm trying to think what other accounts we have.
TikTok, Instagram, X.
TikTok, Instagram, and X, all under Outcasted OC. That's where you can follow any of us and keep up to date with any of our socials. Separate socials are also down below, so you can follow any of us for any content we've done. I've started posting some more. G is very much doing daily posts on all 3 platforms. And I know Courtney is always on the grind with her TikToks, which is always great to see. So yeah, if you enjoy what you like, come look around. But yeah, we will see you all.
I don't think anybody's outro hits like a Reese's outro.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't.
He practices it in the mirror Monday through Thursday so he can get it.
Reese's outros are like bread and butter. It's like a wrestler doing a promo. He is on it. He's got it rallied out. Look, I'm very much just a free flow talker. Like, if you want to follow us on the socials, go ahead. You'll see when the next episode
Hit
is.
that button. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, and we will see you all next week for our next episode.
Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.
And I couldn't hit the outro button. There we go. Now bye.
Typical